Because when everybody's sitting there saying the sky's falling, this is the worst thing that could have ever happened ever. No, this was planned. It was planned right after COVID happened, and nothing got changed. This was calculated.
Okay, gotcha.
All the way. This is instruction for anybody.
All right, who is that? Is that Jerome?
Get all the way out of it.
Hey Mike, I tried it on my Mac.
Or William. William, I'm gonna have to mute you because your feedback's crazy.
Yeah, it's real.
Or is that Crystal? I'm gonna mute it.
Sorry, Brando, that was me.
Okay. I just need to make sure that the feedback. Hey, Malcolm, what's going on, dog? Donna, I see Jerome, Iceberg. I see everybody in here. Good to see y'all. Okay, so understand that, first of all, we knew this weeks ago when we did the very first white paper. They said there was a liquidity problem. With the liquidity problem, we also found out that, guess what? They were going to have to do things to cover salaries. Before they passed the external internal borrowing law, right? They just passed the borrowing law. So now everybody's sitting here scrambling saying, well, why would they devalue their currency? There's only a few reasons why you devalue a currency. One, it makes exports more competitive. Number two, it drives demand for domestic goods and services. That's this person. 171-717-75. Mute yourself. I'm gonna have to mute all of you if you don't. Okay. So improves terms of international trade. No, they're not doing a bunch of international trade, so we know what's going on there. Increased foreign investment in tourism. We know nobody's traveling. Can make government debt more manageable. That's what all this is about. And nobody stopped to look at what we talked about, which was not only the GDP, but with the respect to managing internal and external debt. That's all this is about. They're trying to cover their bills. Now, I saw someone put up there, I hope it goes back tomorrow or the next day. No, it will not until all the debts are paid under the current crisis, okay? A weaker currency can also make a country's debt more manageable. This is because devalued currency also effectively devalues any outstanding loans denominated in currency. Lenders tend to lose out when a currency is weakened, as the amount they will receive from the borrower will ultimately be worth less than it was when the loan was originally issued. But this can be good news for borrowers, and it can make repayments more manageable and reduce the overall amount that has to be paid back. Now, I could ask everybody the obvious question: what's the amount of debt that needs to be paid back? It's not Kuwait. Your whole debt load is based upon a couple things. In 2020, they estimated their debt, external debt, about 40 billion and some change. The CBI came out and said, we're going to figure out a way how to come up with $3 billion in liquidity for the purchasing power for the citizens. They devalued the currency, and guess what their debt load is for the next year? Not everybody's a mathematician. I get it. It is $3 billion less. Isn't that a coinky-dink? So all this is about is paying salaries and paying your creditors. Not Kuwait, because Kuwait's paid from a fund that they don't actually get a touch. Okay? So the sky's not falling.
I have to ask myself again.
One reason a country may devalue its currency is to combat trade imbalance, because exports increase and imports decrease. It favors a better balance of payments by shrinking trade deficit. That means a country that devalues its currency can reduce its deficit because of a strong demand for cheaper imports. Now, we know that they don't necessarily want cheaper imports from Iran, but they do want to have a balanced trade equity with Turkey and with Israel and with Saudi Arabia and with a few other countries. So do you see what they're doing? They're just trying to make sure that they can pay the bills that come in the door, as well as pay the salaries. Remember, I told you all this 3 weeks ago. Their whole goal for the CBI is to pay excuse me, not COI, the GOI is to pay the salaries. That's what all this is. Because listen, you haven't heard any news out there that salaries have changed to accommodate a different thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
People like myself that go out there and buy stocks on ISX are looking at this like a fire sale. Of course you want to buy more right now if you had the money, because instead of getting $11.90, now you're getting $14.50. It's a step up. So a purchase would be a great time to make a purchase. Think about this. How many of y'all buy stocks, bonds, cryptocurrencies, or whatever?
Buy on the dip.
Buy on the dip and you sell on the spikes.
Yep.
Or what we like to say in the sales game is you buy on the history and you sell on the rumors.
Okay.
Where can you buy IQD? That's the other thing I want you people to understand. You can't. That means what? The IMF and the CBI control the currency in Iraq. If there's no liquidity, you can't buy it. So you don't have to worry about them printing currency. This is not a bad thing. Everybody see where I'm going with this? Do you understand a little bit? If you have a question, please ask. When you lower currency, it lowers productivity, since imports of capital equipment and machinery become more expensive. Well, the Port of FAO, FAO, and other ports, guess what? They're negotiated deals with China or Daewoo or South Korea. How are they paying them? In oil, not dollars. Remember what I told you? I either wanted to see them pay everything in oil or pay stuff in half dinar or half dollars or all dinar. I didn't want to see all them contracts in dollars. It ruins cash reserves. Okay. This was planned. This chart came out over a year ago. This is not secret sauce. When you have a devaluation, you have a devaluation / depreciation. The winners are exporters, domestic tourism, workers gaining jobs in export industries, economic growth might increase, and a current amount deficit should improve. Your deficit goes against your GDP. Do you see where I'm going with all this? This ain't rocket science. This is easy stuff. The sky is not falling, okay? The losers are consumers who buy imports. If you wanted to squeeze out cheap imports out of your country, devaluing your currency would make it better and easier to do because people don't want cheap stuff. A lot of y'all may not be old enough to remember, but I remember growing up when you used to grow up and say, oh, that came from Japan. Don't buy a car that came from Japan. Because it was crap. Now you damn near always search out, well, where's the parts made? Japan, perfect. That's awesome. Because you don't want cheap currency. You don't want cheap goods. You don't want cheap services. You want quality goods and quality services for a cheaper price. That's a different negotiable stake. Okay? Residents who holiday abroad. If you're a rich Iraqi politician and you want to go to Paris for Christmas, guess what? It costs you 22% more today than it did yesterday. 22%. That's what the actual currency was devalued, 22%. Now, us looking at the big number said, well, it was 1180 and now it's 1450. This is crap. My money's crap. You can look at it from two instances. One, we were done for buying it at 1080, 50 or whatever. Or you can look at it and say, this is a fire sale. It's on sale. Currency's on sale. Now, countries typically don't buy currencies that's not on Forex, so I'm not worried about there being some type of fiscal invasion happening in Iraq where Sweden or Japan or the United States goes in there and says, I'm going to buy up all this country's currency like a George Soros would and then cause all this downfall. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. No. Another thing that people are afraid of is that they would somehow sell out to somebody and let them buy up all their dollars from auction, which is the same problem. But as we learned this week, Malik, he knows like 3 or 4 of the banks that come from auctions anyway. He can't touch his money in the United States. They need to capture the money that's been lost abroad, which is basically 500 billion. Right now, Iraq is not in chapter 7. Right now, Iraq is in chapter 6. They are. They're in chapter 6. They wanted to get to chapter 7 because that way then they can go after countries or people, entities that have stolen money from them. Make sense? Under 6, you don't have the same power. The idea, guys, is they need to cover their debt right now. Then they're going to go after the $500 billion. And then guess what? You don't have to borrow any money to rebuild your country. It only costs like $115 billion to revalue the whole country. If they just got monies that were stolen from abroad, guess what? They can rebuild their country and not have a problem. Without borrowing a nickel, thus increasing the reserves. Oh, you want me to mute? Let me do this here. Mute off. Raise your hand if you have a question. Okay, I muted everybody so we don't have to hear the background noise. So if you did these things, you recapture the money that's stolen abroad, which is $500 billion, cost you $115, $120 billion to rebuild. Then guess what? The donor money from Kuwait becomes extra. Any money's captured from the, you're welcome. Any money's captured from oil sales is captured. It's all your money. That money can go to Kuwait, and that's why I still say, yeah, they do. But if you actually go to try to buy it from Exchange of America, someone just said you can buy currency from Exchange of America. You can only buy 50s. That's it. You can only buy 50s. I tried. And not 50,000s, 50s. I ain't buying a 50. There's no value to that currency. If you look at the external debt from 2019 to 2020, it actually went up 10 of $100 billion. But it's supposed to reverse in 2021 by $3 billion. That's where the $3 billion liquidity comes from, is devaluing the currency. Hence, making it a simpler play where they didn't have to print more currency or borrow money from somebody. And guess what? Everybody gets to have Ramadan and everybody's happy, right? Now, people are upset in the streets because your currency is really a badge of honor to a citizen. To have strong currency behind your name as a citizen gives you an inherent confidence in the banking and in the governmental system that you live within. The Iraqis don't understand this because they look at it, well, goods are 20% more. Yes, my money's worth 20% less. However, it has to be that way to cover their external debt. They don't have a choice. They can't pay their bills because they can't borrow any money from anybody. No one will loan them any money. The IMF won't loan them the money. The World Bank won't loan them money. No one's willing to loan them money or give them money. Now, they'll do deals. We'll do a deal. You want to pay us in oil? You can only do so many oil contracts, but guess what? You still got to fulfill your OPEC contracts. You see what I'm saying? The sky is not falling. Finance explodes. The official devaluation of the dollar started Sunday. The Financial Committee informed the governor of the central bank of its objection to the devaluation of the dollar because this would negatively affect the citizens. This governor of the central bank informed the Finance Committee that the purpose of the process of raising the exchange rate is to provide financial liquidity and secure the salaries of the employees in the coming period. These are your articles. You post these. I don't. It took me 3 minutes to figure this out. This is simple. And I'm not yelling at you. I'm just telling you, the sky ain't falling. This, you all, is called managing your risk in an investment. If you can manage your emotions through these tough times, or what's perceived as tough, and quit listening to every swinging dick out there that talks about dinar, and just read the stuff you give me. I can sit here and tell you guys, what did you learn this week? Well, we learned that they actually planned this. We actually know the government says that it contained the draft budget is only a proposal, so we don't know what's in it. We also know that if it devalued by 22%, they can cover more of the budget under the current circumstance, thus making it easier to pass the budget. Now, you're going to tell me, well, that's not fair to the citizens. The citizens are going to be pissed. They're not going to like it, and they're going to be angry, and they're going to protest. Oh, no, not the protest, please. Oh, citizens, you feckless people, not the protest. Oh, I shiver in fear from protest. I laugh at protest now. You saw what happened when they protested before. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Do you think they're worried about the citizens, or do you think they're worried about the GOI? If you were sitting in the GOI, would you be sitting there saying, well, this ain't fair. My cousin Tommy, he doesn't have a lot of money. So when we devalue this currency, he's going to have 22% less to spend at the market. And dang it, that makes me angry. But make sure you pay my salary because I went to work. You see my point? They're not worried about the citizens. This ain't about people. This is about overt dominance over a society. They can't do a thing about it but be angry or protest. And we know they protest forever. How long from the initial protest to when they got a new PM? Months. How long from the last time they did it? Years. How long did it take them to get rid of ISIS? 2 years. For a street gang? Now you're going to say, well, Mr. Brando, well, if it takes so long to do all this other stuff, why would they give their currency any value? Right? Because to be on the international stage, or even to be a part of the Arab market, they got to have a currency that's worth between 22 cents and $2 and about 17 cents. And you're going to say, well, how do you know that? And I'm going to say, well, my handy dandy friend Nicole gave me a little chart. And it says, and I quote, midline currencies, the Qatar dinar is 27 cents. If you go all the way up to the most expensive dinar, it's Kuwait at $3.28. Don't you see Iraq has to fit in between there to be a part of that group? Now, you're going to say, well, who's on that Arab Council? That's crap. Well, I'll tell you. Iraq, Somalia, Syria, Cameroon, Yemen, Algeria, Djibouti, Sudan, Egypt, Morocco, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and don't get it twisted all, the Saudi rial is only worth 28 cents. It ain't like the Saudis are killing it in the whole currency game. They're mediocre at best. UAE, I can't even say this one. Maltarania, Palestine, that's Israel. Tunis, Libya, Jordan, Oman, Bahrain, and Kuwait. Well, if I want to sit at the table with the big kids, I got to be worth 27 cents. If I want to be the biggest kid on the block, which everybody's saying Iraq is the shining star, your currency's got to be worth more than $3.28. You know, because of cash reserves, it ain't no $3.28. But there's a whole bunch of currencies in here valued from 27 cents to 74 cents. I always said the sweet number for Iraq was 85 cents to $1.20. And I'll stick with that number till the day they stick a spade in my face. That's reality. Now, a lot of people out there are going to say, well, there's a buzz talking about the dinar. Ooh, there's a buzz. My contacts tell me your contacts don't know shit from Shinola. The people you know Iraq don't know shit from Shinola. You, my friend, are a liar because your buzz last week, guess what? It was a devaluation, not a revaluation. So you're either a fucking dumbass or you don't read the dumb shit you write down to spit to people that follow you. And I'd be damned if I go back on YouTube and fatten frogs for snakes. And I can laugh about it because I can read. And I take time every day to read. Even April says, oh, you're in Mr. Brando mode because when she asks me a question, you know what my answer is? Okay, honey, yes, baby, whatever you want. Oh, he's reading. Don't even ask them a question. I'm reading intently. And then just I'll pick up my phone, I'm defining things. How do you define the activity in which is going on? Oh, once I defined what devaluation meant, once I read the articles, when you put 1 plus 1, it ain't 87. It never is. It just never is. It has to be logical. It has to be logical. Countries don't work in smoke and mirrors. Oh, it's a smoke screen. For what? To show that you mismanaged your company? Because all a country is a giant company. There's a lot of, yes, Nicole, yes. There's a lot of currencies right now they're devaluing. A lot. Libya, there's a few of them in the Middle East. Why? They're restructuring to make them COVID-proof, disease-proof. That's what all this is about. And you know what? I know you thought I was going to have some big tarp in the back and I was going to pull it down. I was going to say, aha, that is the reason why you are here today. And you're going to go, oh, and the angels in heaven and earth and everything's going to smile upon me and sunlight was going to grace my brown skin. And you were going to say, that man's smart. But guess what? It's all it is. It's all it is. Do not freak out. Don't freak out. They're just trying to pay everybody for the holiday. It's all they're trying to do. It's going to go back up. It's only 22%. It's not. How do I want to put this? Genius on their part. Their next play is they're going to try to get back into conservatorship with the IMF to enter back into Article 7 of their agreement so they can go after all the money that's stolen. We already know that all the external monies that are in the American money system are already frozen for that list. You should be looking at lists for money launderers. If you're going to accuse money launderers, the best thing you can see is them being on a list. 2, there are broad transactions and monies that are in those banks be frozen. And number 3 thing you should be looking out for is arrest. That's the money laundering law, right? We know who the money launderers are. I mean, that ain't hard. You know that better than they do. Enforcement, policy, law, and enactment. That's it. That's it. I can't wait to see the youth. I might actually watch a few gurus to hear how they spin this devaluation. I want to hear it. What's your excuse from last week to this week? Because you know what? It's comical. You're not an analyst. A, you ain't that fucking bright. Number 2, you don't read. And number 3, whatever contacts you got, you should shoot them in the face because they're worthless. Worthless. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. An idiot. You're dumber than dirt. You're so dumb that, you know what? If someone came to me and said, you should invest in me, I'm dumb. And you give them money, you're dumber than they are. I'm just telling you. I don't mean to be mean to anybody, but don't let emotion override the investment. It's simple. There are explanations that you can always explain based upon not only the current news without a contact anywhere, and number 2, because it makes sense. I told April yesterday, we were talking about something, and Megan will laugh at this. I was getting on one of our vendors' ass the other day, and I said, you know what? This isn't the first lying salesman that lied to me this week about my business. And do you think it surprises me that you're a liar? No, it doesn't. But it doesn't mean that I have to sit here and listen to your lies. Make sense? Don't get caught up in hype. Get caught up in news. And don't read headlines and see, Iraq wants to be international. And then you read below, they're nowhere international, nothing's going to happen. And I see all these likes. I'm like, did any of you read? No, you didn't. I know you didn't. I know you didn't because I am the only one that comments. And I do it on purpose. I look at the article, I make sure nobody comments and says, did anybody read this? Because this ain't a good article. This is horrible. And people be like, oh no, they put like by my name because they know I read it. But for you guys, managing your own expectations will take you way further than this. Now, some people are going to say, oh, we're all guilty of it, Joe. I do it too. I'll read some, oh, international, oh, okay. And then I'll look and go, oh, no comments. Let me read that one. That's the one I want to read. It's got 40 likes. I don't get 40 likes on anything, but I'm just saying 40 likes and All this engagement, nobody says anything. This is horrible news. This is terrible. This is not good news. Everybody's loving it until you see in the headlines, devaluation. This is horrible. No, it's not. This has been planned. They can't pay their people. They can't pay the people. Now, the other part of this that you know something's happened is, why would Herbal agree to give an extra 210,000 barrels of oil a day to a system they already agreed to pay 250 a day? Because they need that oil to pay them contracts because they ain't got no cash. Can't trade food. You ain't got enough food. Can't trade electricity. Can't trade solar. Can't trade gold for all these gold freaks out there. Oh, gold's going to be a safe haven for everybody. I'm still waiting on my gold fairy to come to me and bless me with that pissy dust. Ooh, gold. I love the gold. All my silver. Look at all my pretty silver. Can't do anything with it. But there's going to be a gold standard. There's not. Never be a gold standard as long as you ever live again. You want to know why? Because this is the ultimate manipulation. Fiat is the ultimate manipulation. Why would you give a game to somebody that you're already the master of? Why? Why? Because it's fair? Well, because you know what? Fairness is right, and you're right about that, and a lot of people should be more fair. Being fair is good, right? Everybody agree with that? Being fair is good. It's kind to be fair, right? When was the last time your government was fair or kind to you? Any president, anytime you name them, I'll back you up. Name one. Go ahead, Megan, name one.
It's not realistic. That's the issue. Fair is always good, but it's not realistic on a global scale either.
But they promised me that I was going to get my 40 acres and my mule.
Yeah, they promised me tax cuts too. I wouldn't invest in that emotionally.
You know what, y'all? The deal with that is you've got to manage this just like you manage a business. You got to look at it every day and say, it's my baby. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to nurture it. I'm going to feed into it. If there's a dip, I'm going to buy. And if it goes high, I'm going to sell. If I was smart, I'd have sold some of my currency at 1180. If I was smart. If I was truly a smart individual, and I'm not saying I am, but if I was smart, looking back, I would have made 22% of my money. $1 million, I'd have made what? 22%? I'd have made about $4 grand. $2 grand. Yes, Nicole?
I was just thinking, how do you think, you have to mute that, babe. No, Pam, you have to mute the whole sound on the computer.
Nicole, your feedback's horrible.
I know, because that's what Greg has his on separately.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Greg. I'm sorry. Don't kick Greg out. Don't kick.
I'm gonna kick
You have to mute me. I'm already muted.
Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to know, how do you think that this is going to combat corruption by them lowering the value of the dinar?
Because they're going to make a plea to the IMF to get them back into Article 7, and that way they're going to pass that law about money laundering, and they're going to demand that they get that money back.
Okay.
It's stolen money. Just like you told me the other day, they got a palace sitting in France that's Saddam Hussein's. What's that palace worth? 30 million, 50 million, 100 million, whatever it's worth, it's a dead asset. What do companies usually do with dead assets? They usually write them off or sell them off or get rid of them. They can't do either because they don't control the asset. You got to get back to the basic principles of business.
Okay. Have you noticed also that, you remember the guy that got arrested in Australia, and they were talking about Hyundai and Samsung and Berkshire Hathaway and a few others, how basically they all, they talked about they made these illegal contracts and they were worth like 50 billion or I don't know, 500 billion.
Sure.
They only had 1 or 2 articles about that. And I've been looking, I haven't seen anything else. So I'm wondering what's happening with that in the background.
Because their news system's a little bit differently than ours. When they go to trial and stuff like that, it's not going to be publicated because they have a little bit harsher penal system than we do. They might get a hand cut off, a foot cut off. They're not going to put that, oh, we chopped off somebody's head. I'm sorry, a whole community out there that wants to invest in us. We had to eliminate this person because we chopped off their head. Sorry about that. We're going to behave from now on. No, they're not going to print that ever.
You don't think?
Nah. What I want to see happen is I want to see one or two of these politicians that they stole money that are in the billions, and I want to see them say, we know you stole money. We know you're connected to banks. We know we're doing this. We want to investigate you. And since we are feckless and we're afraid to investigate you, we're going to turn you over to Interpol and let Interpol investigate you. Hey, Miss Mary.
How you doing?
How you doing, sweetie?
I'm hanging in.
Well, you're doing better than hanging. You look beautiful, honey.
Thank you.
See, I never ever wanted the dinar to be the ruler of my existence. The dinar is a fun investment, but it's also a very complicated one because you got to kind of halfway understand that, you know what, you're dealing with a bunch of people that aren't necessarily on the up and up. Anybody that will screw their own people over, what do you think they care about, you or me? They don't. You think they care about U.S. pressure? They owe the United States $2 billion. Did anybody know that? They owe the United States $2 billion external debt loans. They ain't paying that. So if they won't pay the big bad United States, you think they're going to want to pay back the citizens? We protect them and keep them safe and warm. But it's not the negative that you want to look at it. You got to look at it from the positive. Okay, if they make salaries, that means government doesn't shut down. That means free and fair elections are coming up. If they don't shut down, that means they're paying their external debt, which is an article of their IMF agreement, by the way. If you don't pay your bills, guess what? You go down another notch. So all this is good. It's not great. It's not bad. I'm put it like this. No, it's not the news I wanted to get on here Sunday and tell you. Oh my gosh, the week before Christmas is the holy blessing. Everybody's going to get this money. Woo! But no, I can't say that, but I can say at least I understand why they did it and how they did it and what I'm looking for going forward. It's not going to stay 1450, probably 3 months. Which, put in within my own time frame, I said by summer, second quarter, we were going to be in a different spot. I really believe that. The thing I don't necessarily know is it going to be 27 cents or is it going to be 3.28? I don't know that. But I do know that as you see vaccines come out, the world's going to open up. Travel and tourism, which is another thing that helps in a devaluation circumstance, I read you that, is going to come into play. So anybody got a question about this? I don't want to see any more people. I'll take 20 cents. I don't want it. I'll take it. Okay. I'll take that. I don't want it. I always had the dream to be $3 plus. God, I had dreams about it. God, the yachts I was going to have and the parties and the champagne. I was going to rent Vegas for you guys. And I was going to do it up big. I really was. I really, really was. But now I got to think smart. If you got 10 million to 27 cents, you got 2.7 million. If you got 3 million at 20 cents, you got 600 grand or 60 grand. What is it? I don't know. God, you can tell here. Let's do this right. If you got, let's say, a $3 million tag and it hits 27 cents, you got $810,000. You're still a millionaire. Which leads me to the second half of this conversation. So if you don't want to hear about financial literacy, check out now. What are you going to do with your 800 grand that you're planning for today that you know is going to help you summer this year? Somebody, please, somebody tell me you got an idea, you know what you're going to do. Daisy even knows she wants kibbles and bits. She knows the first thing she's going to do is get treats. She may not get a lot of stuff, but she's going to get a whole bunch of treats.
I'm going to find somewhere with no mosquitoes.
Bingo. Invest. But you gotta have you don't have like a full-blown like written policy like in blood. I make this pact with myself that I'm going to own 4 companies by this. But what I want you to look at and say, how do I create myself a tax haven for my currency? Okay, a tax haven. I am a blue blood running an American. I love this country, but I've learned that through the rich being richer and the poor getting worse, that guess what? They don't look out for us. So why do I want to pay tax into a system that doesn't look out for number one?
And I want to make money work for me too.
Correct. Passive income is the best income ever. So there's a thing out there, and it's real popular. It's called citizen buy investment. How many of you guys like to watch YouTube videos? There's a guy out there, his name is something Nomad. If you type in Nomad into your YouTube, you can learn about citizen buy investments. It ranges anywhere from 100 grand all the way up to $1 million. You can buy citizenship here. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Nicole. You can buy citizenship in America for $1 million. Mm-hmm. Once you've got your tax haven set, as long as that money that you have out of country doesn't come back in as infrastructure or building, you'll never be taxed on it. So my thought process would be start a company, not an LLC. It needs to be an S Corp or a C Corp. The difference is I always like S Corps. You're never gonna have more than 100 employees. Okay? A C Corp is like Ford Motor Company or Coke or Pepsi, Budweiser, something like that. You want to have that corporate set. You want to know why? It's a shell company. Well, take that money, send it offshore, wait, only pay taxes on what you want to trickle back in. And if I were you, my investment would be in something that holds something that doesn't require a human being for breaking. Storages, strip malls. If you buy homes, which is a great investment, you want to buy 20 or more. So when you hit the ripe old age of 62, and all of you guys should be buying in places that you don't have state income tax, like a Texas, right? I'm gonna tell you why. You don't pay taxes on the earned income when you're past 62. You ain't gotta love Texas. You just gotta love the people that live in your houses. Treat them fairly. If you do start a business, start thinking now of a comprehensive plan with somebody who's way smarter than me. That's going to put you into something that you can say, okay, I get this. Now, what do I need to do to make this go forward? I pay as little tax possible, pay my employees, and allow me some residual income that I don't have to sit there and babysit it every 5 minutes. Anybody got a clue? Okay, so what's an idea? I like storage units. Huh?
Can I market a skill?
Yeah.
So mine would be, some of you know, I have a master's in industrial organizational psychology. I would front a business as a consultant.
Perfect. Now, we all know consultants can get a whole bunch of money, right? And here's the thing, your Iraqi money offshore will earn more in interest than your American money will in an American bank. Offshore monies are hitting between 6 and 10% right now, offshore. How many of you guys like beaches? How many of you guys out there like snow? Okay, you got to think about this now. You can buy a citizen buy investment in Switzerland. Doesn't matter. You just want to move the money off this ground so you pay less tax. Does that make sense? You can live here. You don't ever have to move. When you buy this place in overseas, whatever, guess what? You can either do it by donation or buy a piece of property. I always suggest buying a piece of property. That way you can rent it out to someone and recoup some of your money, right? You never have to go there. Nicole in the chat put the Nomad guy I was telling you guys about. You can go look at it for yourself. It's very simple to do. The next thing you do once you got yourself a business, now you got to create yourself at least 5 to 7 streams of income. Because that's what the rich do. I mean, when I say rich, I mean wealthy rich. I'm not talking about Shaq. I'm talking about the guy that wrote Shaq's check, okay? Or Michael Jordan, the guy that wrote Michael Jordan's check, okay? Any of y'all seen American Gangster? When he says, not him, he didn't own his company. He just managed it. I want you to be your own company and for you to manage it. The people, for each company, you should put a person in place that you can manage them, that you hold them accountable for every win and every loss. Reward the wins, limit the losses, and guess what? You pay them accordingly. But the profits, instead of it taking in a salary, you ship it offshore. Or you invest in another business and you defer your taxes again. If it's real estate, you sell a property, you buy another property. You don't go out and buy a Bentley, you go buy another property. Buy a yacht, use it for a couple days, you don't like it, sell it to a buddy. And that's the reason why we created the Mr. Brando, Miss April BB platform. I wanted to get as many future millionaires in a room at the same time. So that Shanna tells Jeffrey, hey, look, where you live? I live in North Carolina. Well, you know, there's awesome, I don't know, moose hunting. I don't know. Well, how many moose can we get? As many as we want. We're going to buy this land for $100,000. I don't want to put up $100,000. Why I want to put up $100,000? Well, why don't we put up 30 apiece, buy the land, have a minimal note, and then rent these out for 2 times their value. And we'll fence this all off. We'll buy mooses from somewhere and let these people out there and kill all the mooses they want. If I was super smart, and a lot of you are going to get mad when I say this, if I was super smart, I would tell a lot of you guys to go out there and start your own church. Think I'm lying? Start your own church. Because every single donatable dollar is tax-free as long as it's recognized by the United States government. Look at the Church of Scientology. Look at the Mormon Church, look at the Catholic Church, and look at the Church of Scientology, and you tell me, how do they have more money than the United States government does right now? But I'm just some long-haired hippie with glasses on. I don't know. With a Fendi for polo. I don't know a lot. I don't know a lot. Don't get me wrong now. I ain't telling no one to play with God. I'm not telling you that. You better really deliver a message, okay? But if your offshore company donated $100 million to your church for infrastructure, it's tax-free twice.
Hey, you speaking about churches, it's a guy in Mobile, very, very rich man, very rich. He took a portion of his strip mall that he owned, and he leases it to a church. And the rest of it, he has his offices for his business.
Can I make you laugh? And if I was the guy that owned the strip mall, I'd give the church a discount. I can write it off as a loss. Does everybody see where I'm going with this? It's not to be evil. Don't think of me as a bad guy, okay? I'm just trying to tell you, if you want to defer taxes legally, this is how you do it. Okay? Your Joel Olsteins, that big guy in Atlanta, the TD Jakes guy in Dallas, all these guys out there, they're not flying helicopter to place because they're for the people. They provide a service. And within that service, it just so happens to be tax deductible. Does anybody have a business idea that you want to start?
Well, I actually, I look at it like this, and I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me, but I figured that since churches are tax deductible, then and they are also tax exempt, that they don't have to deal with a lot of the IRS rigmarole. Yet they're allowed to take PPP loans, which I don't understand because that's taxpayers' money. So that's basically telling me that a church is a business.
Right.
Going to business every Sunday and giving your money. So heck, I mean, if they can do it, why can't I?
Well, Nicole, I would venture to guess, you know what I would do for infrastructure for my church? I'm just using a church as a weird, I don't mean to harp on church, so please don't think that.
I know.
But what I'm saying is, if I was going to start a church, you think I'd buy a building? No. You know what I'd do? I'd invest $100 million into a technical studio, right? And have church online. Hold it by Zoom. I'd never own a building. No, why would I? Listen, owning a building past 2020 is going to become passe. Because of COVID. COVID's never going to go away. A vaccine doesn't mean you're cured. It just means it's prevented from you hopefully not getting it.
True.
So if I was listening to someone and they said, Brandon, I want to buy a building in Paris, I'd be like, I'll pass. Now, if they said I wanted to open up a virtual office in Europe, I'd be like, tell me more.
I like it.
See where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Anything with the tag 5013C, write that number down, ladies and gentlemen. That number is 5013C, is a license to print money. and you can help people. I know it sounds nutty, y'all. Y'all looking at me like, well, Mr. B, are you going to open a church? I might. I might open a church of Iraqi Dinarians. I thought about it. I have definitely thought about it. I know, Megan, I have thought about it. Think about it.
I am actually what's making me laugh is I am actually an ordained minister.
Preach, preacher. Preach. Somebody, I know I got some preachers in the audience. Look at that. And Pamela's like, me, I got 2 preachers right there. I can marry folks online. I can do anything. These are called loopholes, kids. Okay. Loopholes is what keeps you rich. If you spend $1, I want 10 back. Write this word down, each and every one of you. It's called ROI. Does anybody venture to guess what ROI means?
Return on investment.
Damn straight. For every $1 I put in, I wanted at least 3 back. If I had my druthers 10 back, that's where the Saudi rules come in. They don't put money in if they don't get 1,000% back. Why can't you operate the same way? And it doesn't mean that you have to be shady or sneaky or none of that stuff. I don't want a shady church. And hell, I'd even go to it. I'd be like, amen. Amen. I'm all for this church. I love this church. I ain't got it. I could just wear a suit from here down and show up and be happy. Donate. When y'all pass the plate, it could be a virtual plate. $10 million. I can write off the 10 million. You can write off the 10 million. It all stays within a family. That's why the Mormons and the Catholics and the Muslims and all these people out there really get it. And us as humans really don't. A church provides a great community sense. It gets people together for the fact of God. And it also puts a moral stamp on what your business is. I'm not saying you got to be a church. I'm not saying that. But if you're a 501(c), you want to donate stuff to charity, or you want to have something where people give you donations and you go out, and even if you fund your own charity, could you imagine giving yourself $1 million in your charity and going out and buying turkeys and food for people at the end of the year, and you say, well, dang, I spent $1 million, but guess what? I'm going to get $1.5 million back in taxes.
I would want to do the Santa thing where you go and you pay off like those outstanding like loans and things like that. I would want to do that.
I'd want to do the Elvis Presley thing. Everybody know the Elvis Presley story? And I don't like Elvis to that degree, but Elvis around Christmas time used to go to this Cadillac dealership where he lived. And he'd just walk around. He'd wear a disguise. He'd walk around. And guess what? He'd listen to people trying to buy cars. And if they didn't get approved for the car, you know what he did? He went back to that loan office and he bought him a car. And they'd be like, wait a minute, I didn't get approved. I don't have the money to do. Well, that gentleman bought you the car. Well, I'm a 501(c). Guess what? I get to write that car off. Someone who runs marketing, let me explain marketing to everybody. Word of mouth is the best marketing you can ever have. But the other thing that you guys have advantage that a lot of people won't, you're sitting within a gene pool of people that have a lot of money that you can say, hey, C-Ray, you got $1 million. I got $1 million. Not you, Siri. And guess what? We're not going to spend $1 million. We're going to spend $500,000 a piece, and we're going to go buy this property. We're going to open up a building. We're going to take care of whatever. All charities aren't bad or good. You see what I'm saying? But it gives you the infrastructure to work in a tax structure that doesn't work the same way. If you felt uncomfortable shipping your money somewhere like St. Lucia's, St. Croix, Trinidad, something like that. I didn't want to go too far. I just want to talk taxes for a second because I think that's everybody's main goal is if I get all some money, I don't want to lose it. You're going to have to spend some of it, but you only want to spend just enough to create a tax shelter for yourself that the rest of the money that you put into that account, therefore you're not paying taxes on it or very little. Now, as far as a business goes, if it was me, I'd stay away from brick and mortar, no restaurants, no bars, no buildings, no, like when I say building, I mean like a big shopping center for a Kroger or a Kmart or something like that. The reason why is If people can't go out and frequent your business, your foot traffic's down, you're not going to get your money back in rent. But dwellings, storages, wine storages, high-end insurance buildings with bonds that you can store art, gold, anything protective. So yes, my S Corp is established. It's called Jackson Venture Capital. Yes. When I learned about the tax benefit of an S Corp, I knew it was for me because it's for the individual in mind that wants to invest. Now, let me tell y'all something. Don't you pay someone like a Legal Shield to do your S Corp. Call me on the background and say, B, hit me up. How do I start an S Corp cheap? I'll show you. It's way cheaper than what you think. And then you open up several DBAs under that S Corp you're doing business as. Or if you feel like it's a more risky adventure for what you're doing, open up an LLC. You don't have to have that in place when you exchange, but you need to account for it before you exchange. So if you want to open up an S Corp, you say, well, look, I need $1 million for my citizen by investment. I'm just using a weird number. 100,000. Let's use 100,000. I need 100,000 for citizen by investment. I'll need $1,000 to open up an S Corp and do it correctly. So I need 101,000. That's all I need. I don't need more. And then when they say, well, okay, well, you got all this currency in here. You open it up, you buy your citizen by investment, which so you're 100 grand, you're only paying taxes on about $1,000. Make sense? And you say, well, dang, I don't ever want to go to St. Lucia. Okay, don't. Don't let the apartment sit empty. Who cares? You got a passport at that point. You're a citizen. You go back to your bank and you say, look, I want to deposit the rest of my money in this account. It's over here, blah, blah, blah. It's done. And then from there, you ship the money from St. Lucia to you. My next company would be a 5013C. And you're off to the races. If that's, you just want to live a tax-free life. Now, if you're like, well, I don't mind paying a little tax, then you come back and you open up a separate company and you make that your holding company for the United States. Your offshore account is the account you'll never tell a soul about, unless it's your kids, somebody like that. Because you don't want people to look at you and go, well, dang, Mr. Brando's got $50 million sitting offshore. If we kidnap him, torture him, Ms. Beebe will give us $51 million. You want to do that? And then if you open up a business, there's all these articles that are out there now about, you know, how do you survive online? How do you survive past COVID? And I'm not saying everything needs to be digital. But what I'm saying is that if you take a big piece of your business and say, I can provide goods and services through an automated platform, and because you got all this money sitting here, you actually just want to lose money for the first 5 years. I just want to lose. I don't want to win. I don't want to win. Does that make sense? I don't want to win. Because I can't write that money off. You're given a grace period to make your business successful. And you don't want to lose tons of money. You want to lose the minimum. How many of you guys are into decorating? How many of y'all are into, hell, if it was me, you know, one thing that I would do, I would get into the import car business. I would take cars overseas that can't be imported over here, have the driving thing switched, the emissions switched, and I'd sell high-end cars in the United States that you can't get here. Tax-free. And your markup's going to be at least 3%. Buy a car for $60,000, I'm selling it for $180,000. And if you do decide to buy a citizen by investment where somewhere you have to live for 6 months, make sure it's a place that you really like, that you're anonymous. Does that make sense? You can walk down the streets and you can be Jerome or you can be Vic and nobody knows you're Vic, the Iraqi Dinar millionaire, trillionaire, billionaire, but you're just a regular guy having a drink in a club or a bar or whatever, and you're just eating your food with your family. You're just having a good time. When you open up your company, the next thing you're going to want to consider is giving your employees the opportunity to experience retirement. When you do that, you don't have to match the contribution being the company. But when they have that availability, guess what? That's another thing you can advertise and market to your constituents. That's a reason to join my company. So if you want all these smart people to work with you and for you, Give them a reason why they can retire that's not built around a pension system. Pensions will not be here forever. But for everything you do contribute to, guess what? You can write it off. So at the end of the year, you're like, damn, I got 20 employees. I need to write off a quick 100 grand. Give each of them $5,000. Before midnight, the 31st, give them a bonus. Hey, here's your bonus. Write that off, and then take the loss, but make it your taxable gain. Next week, I actually want to go into businesses, not churches. I didn't mean to belittle a church at all. Please do not get me wrong. This was not to make fun of churches. But if I was going to run the ultimate business, it would be on the platform of a church. Because that's the best method I've ever thought of. Not me, but successful business people. Next week, I want to provide you guys with 5 or 6 ideas about businesses you can get into. And you'll have the opportunity to make money and then not worry so much about what, or if it's not your expertise, but how you can get into it, how you can survive, and how you can thrive in a recession. Did everybody get notes out of this? Did you catch a little bit? Anybody got a question before we hang this up? If you don't ask, I won't know. So please ask anything you want. Anything. I don't care how crazy it is. Strip club. I don't know. Whatever you want. I don't think you can have a 501(c)(3) strip club. I don't think that's possible. Go ahead. Go ahead, Shanna.
Okay. So my question is, last week you were going to give us the cryptocurrencies that you are currently making money on right now. It got interrupted and we got sidetracked. So can you give me that list?
Yes, I will. I'll do it right now. I'm opening up my Coinbase. So right now, I am in, I'm going through it here. Let's see, portfolio. I guess it's my portfolio. There we go. I am making money on XRP. I have all year. I think I put $40, $50 into it at the beginning of the year. I'm up $186 right now. XRP is a winner. Stellar Lumens, I'm up. $45 investment, I'm up $120 a year. Chainlink, it's down today, but I've been up on that. I'm up about $100 from a $25 investment. Chainlink's huge. And Bitcoin, but I'm not counting Bitcoin because you got to wait now for Bitcoin to drop to about 15,000. If it hits there, I'd get back in and I would just ride that wave to back up to 25. And then I would expect it to plateau to 30, 35. But you need to get back in at least 15 to 18,000 to really see any real movement in it.
Those are the only ones. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
That I put money into minimal monies, maximum rewards over 1 year's time. Minimal. So there's a lot of coins out there that I like though.
Okay.
I like Bitcoin Cash. I like Litecoin. I'm big on Stellar. I'm big on Chainlink. Chainlink's going to be a winner. US Coin's going to be a winner. And for me, that's it. I'm not a big digital currency space guy, but I like those. And I've seen great success with it with minimal investment.
Okay, I'm gonna let Mary ask her question, and I have another one after her.
Okay. We bought Bitcoin when it was like 79 cents a share.
You mean XRP, Miss Mary?
We bought Bitcoin long before we met you.
Oh, okay. So you bought Bitcoin like 7,900 or 79 cents?
79 cents. It was 79 cents a share.
79 cents? Like 0.79?
0.79.
How many Bitcoins do you have? I mean, if you don't mind, I mean, you give me a round number. Give me higher or lower, whatever you want.
No, I think it's about 1,000 now. Just bought it a long time ago.
But Miss Mary, have you sold any of your position off?
Not yet.
Oh my God.
Okay, Miss Mary, I'm gonna give you a piece of sound advice, okay? If you have 1,000 Bitcoin, you should sell about 500 of them right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bitcoin
Run.
is at like 20-something $1,000 per coin.
I talked to Miss April. We talked about it.
Did you tell Mr. Ronnie that?
Mr. Ronnie, no.
But okay, if you're gonna hodl, okay, you don't need to hodl 1,000. Sell off 500 of them.
Okay.
That would put, God, 100,000 in your pocket right today.
Or I'll just give you my wallet address and you can send half of them to me.
Why should I send you
Shut
my?
up, man. That was my line.
You
damn it.
send me yours. Send me yours.
Oh my God, you
Girl,
could
we
have made
have-
money. Miss Mary, I'm gonna give y'all an example. Let me show y'all something.
Look at go.
$1,000 Bitcoin, she could have bought her position and sold it, bought her position and sold it, and still made probably $250,000.
I know. You're right. We're gonna do it. We'll get rid
But
of it.
only half. Don't sell it all.
No, we
Only
won't.
half. Just like all those guys that bought XRP when it was 30-something cents.
Yeah.
It's 80-something cents. Why don't you sell half your position and get your money back?
Yeah, we have a lot of that too.
I know. I know, honey. You need to just really just sell that position off. And you could have been spending your vacation on the moon.
I know.
There ain't no COVID there.
It's just that I know. I don't know.
But honey, listen.
We're
holding
gonna sell some. We'll
you
start.
need to sell a lot. Like
No new friends, Miss Mary. No new friends.
No new friends.
No new friends.
None.
Well, thank God we've been friends for all this time because I feel a blessing coming my way. It's better you tell me
Lama Shama.
that.
I don't even know who's talking other than you. So somebody.
That's Alfred. That's Alfred up there talking to you.
Alfred, be quiet.
Miss Mary, you tell Mr. Ronnie, please, if you got 1,000 coins, sell
I will.
100 of them.
I will. It's just that we were listening to back when Phoenix Rising something. That's when we bought it back then.
Sweet baby Jesus. You know you're a millionaire down there. You got, God, how much do you have? Based on today's numbers,
Oh, that's all you need to know.
God.
We're
dang,
comfortable.
You more uncomfortable. 23. Oh my God, times 500. Ms. Mary, you could sell half of that. Half of 250 and be way into the millions. I'm just saying, y'all, because let me tell you something. Having an asset that you can't utilize is kind of like having a child that never leaves your house. Every day they go to work, they earn money, they do all this stuff, they come home, they eat your food. Make sense? And you're like, hey, Mr. Brando, you're a 46-year-old man come here Tuesday. Like, you don't plan on leaving? No, mama, I love you and I love my daddy. I'm never leaving. Well, what about your wife and your 2 kids that live with us? Like, no, we're a family. We love each other. We're never leaving. Well, honey, you're working. You can make money. It's time to let them birds fly out that nest a little bit. Let them grow. Let them flourish. Because God, you're worth 11 million right now. At 500, at 1,000, that's 22 million. Not to put your business out there, but I'm just saying.
Mr. Brando, stop.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll
Yes,
talk to you later privately.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I'll shut up. I'm sorry. That was not Mary. That was a lady named Yaram. She's from Egypt. She doesn't live here. We don't know her. She just joined the group the other day. Call me. Anybody else want to talk about a business?
I got another question.
Shoot, please shoot.
And congratulations, Miss Mary. That's awesome. Okay.
That ruined my birthday, honestly.
Man,
I'm
Hey,
so broke.
it's just,
I'm
I'm just, Mr. Brando, be quiet. We listened to somebody a long time ago, okay? And they introduced us to the dinar. They introduced us to the
coins.
the coins. They introduced us to the Vietnam thing.
Yeah.
So we've been set. That's, I mean, you just listen to folk. You don't always have to agree, but you listen.
Exactly.
Excellent point. No, that's a good point.
That's
Now,
a
I will
beautiful.
shut up about your business. I will.
Okay, so here's what my question is, Mr. Brando.
Okay.
You gave us an average for our block investment.
Yes.
And I just wanted to know, how did you come up with that average?
It's a moving average based upon monumental movement. It had a little bit with me talking to someone that was from a stock place that told me about splits and told me about the initial amount invested divided by how much the investment was based upon the relative value of $11.80 per share. So it was a formula that they came up with based upon averages. Now, they never told me it could go up or it could go down. They just said average. If it was just a very mediocre amount that it came out at. If you took that, you times it by this, you divided it by that, you took your shares, you did this, and those shares split an average, I think it was 4 times, then you'll come up with this number.
Okay, thank you. I just,
And right now I need to buy. I'm gonna buy.
It was a lot, so I just wanted to. It was a lot, so I just wanted to know exactly how you came up with those numbers, because I was like, wow, just
$200. Yeah, $200 should get you between 10, 15 to 30 million block. Average running at $200. Yeah.
And this annually.
Annually. Yeah. You can bust it up into quarters, and that's where I really want you guys to get set on this whole idea where, okay, this money's got to go somewhere, right? Because what happens is it goes from me, not me personally, but from our company, right? So think of it like this. So there's Brando, and then there's everybody else. It's going to go to another like escrow house. The escrow house is going to say, where do you want me to send this money? And me, I'm trying to prep myself to be like, I don't want to go to Chase Bank, Houston, Texas. I want to go to St. Kitts, the Bank of St. Kitts, and I pay no tax. See what I'm saying?
So how do we all get set up like that? I mean, are we going to get an opportunity for you?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to tell you on these Zooms.
Okay.
Because I have to face it. Basically, everybody on this call is a Patreon member, basically. Few are not. But there's some info that we just need to divulge and say, hey, Brando, when you went through step-by-step of doing what you're doing, that's how you did it, right? And Nicole, and me and Nicole, we talk damn near every day too. You know what I mean? Nicole's got to go. But, that sharing of knowledge is going to be evident for everybody. And you'll see the process real time.
So I just wanted you to know, this is Daniel Johnson.
What's up, Mr. B?
Hey, what's up, Mr. Johnson? What's going
How's
on,
it going, man?
Man, I heard so much about you.
Oh, yeah? Hey, man.
And half of it was good.
Okay,
okay.
It wasn't coming from me. Don't say that.
Okay, well, hey, I introduced Shauna into this a long time ago, and she bought into everything, man. We've been watching you and Miss April, and she's like, she was sold on everything, man. I mean, the education that you gave us both. So,
bro, I just want to provide a service, tell people what's what, and say, hey, look, I'm going to get you started, right? And then you're going to put people in place to take the vision and the dream and make it yourself.
Exactly.
Right? You're going to get people way smarter than me in April, okay? But I just want to get you to the dance. Once we're at the dance, then you can say, okay, well, Bishop B, peace, I love you. I'm not going to stop communicating, but I'm just saying, I don't need you to carry the ball. I got it to the 3rd yard. I don't need you to carry the end zone. We're going to do that. And we have a sound plan that I hope you can go back and share with all these other people and say, hey, look, hey, this works just like this. It's really the way it says. Really is. There's no mystery, guys. Hey, Alicia, I see you. How you doing? It's my girl right there, too. There's no mystery to this. The only mystery is I don't know if y'all, because y'all probably didn't grow up like me. My mom and dad never told me A, how much money they made, B, how much our house cost, B, what a car cost, or C, how to balance a checkbook. Never told me. Never told me. So when I got old, I screwed up my first house. I wrecked a car. I mean, I did all kinds. I mean, but I thought these were things that just were on trees. You just grabbed them. It doesn't work that way. You gotta have somebody to kind of mentor you a little bit of the way. And then I want it to be you guys that take them seeds and say, oh, okay, well now I know these little tidbits. Now I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna run off with it. And you're gonna take somebody else with you, and that's how Mr. Brando and Ms. April Beebe's legacy will grow.
This is my ally in Colorado. It's my ally.
I'm gonna come to Colorado, but not to see y'all.
Well, I'm just saying, don't come right now. You know, you might want to pick a better time. It's cold.
No, I'm gonna come when it's sunny.
Yes.
Because when the sun's out, flowers bloom in Colorado.
He wants to get a hold of those vending machines.
Oh.
Hey, can I make you laugh? Can I make you laugh? Do you know what I thought about? I'm gonna make you laugh. You know what I really thought about as a business idea? I'm gonna give y'all, this is a spoiler alert. I told April about this the other day. I thought about going offshore and starting my own online casino with no regulations.
With no regulation.
Think about it.
Yeah.
You could own a casino somewhere else online. Just, did anybody see the partnership between the online betting company and the company they bought here in the States? I forget what you call them. Not Bleacher Report, but it's something like that. It's God, they're a betting service, and they are.
Is it Jamie Foxx on a commercial for one?
Yes.
Yeah.
And these guys bought a company here in the States. They shook everything off overseas, and that's how you place your sports bets. And once you get it, and it's legal. It's all legal, but you just can't base it in the States. And if you, I mean, there's so many ideas we could share, and I don't want it to be like, hey, and it doesn't have to be betting or church. I mean, but there's so many ideas that we could share that we could grow from each other from, because Pamela or Megan or Jerome or, you know, Willie or Dr. Wilson could say, hey, look, I got this idea, you know what I mean? And I don't know if it works, but someone else may gravitate towards this. That's why I really wanted the Facebook page. I never wanted 15,000 people. You know why? At 15,000 people, it becomes a mush. Everything's watered down. It's all ego driven. It's not sharing in a communal idea that, hey, I want everybody to come to where I am. It doesn't matter where you start. It only matters where we finish. And your level of comfort may not be my level of comfort. You know what I'm saying? But I want everybody to have the life they so richly deserve. Okay? So next week, we're going to do some Iraq, but I'm going to try to come up with 4 or 5 businesses that I think are going to be viable, including my own. I'll share my own ideas, because I know a lot of y'all look at Facebook and say, well, dang, he's launching telehealth. Yeah, I'm launching my own hospital online. Yeah, that's a business you should be looking at. Telehealth's going to be huge. Okay? Alicia, you want to say something? Because you drive and be safe. Okay. Anybody else want to say anything? And you should get with Gerald if you want to build a website, and you should get with a couple other guys in here if you want to do logos. And you know what? I try to spend money where I can. I just couldn't afford Gerald because I was broke. But when I get a little money on my next website, I'm going to get with Gerald and make me some more extra money. But the idea is, y'all, I don't want any of this to be private. I want it to be public. But I just don't want to do it on a massive scale, because not everybody has the mindset of think and grow rich. They just don't.
Okay, I have another question.
Shoot.
Okay, so as far as our blocks is concerned, we are waiting for the stock exchange to open?
We're waiting for the currency to become international, so it doesn't matter what it opens it.
Oh, okay.
Okay? I don't care if the currency's 5 cents. It doesn't matter. The formula works the same way.
Okay.
It just depends on the split, the average movement, and then, of course, the chart. And then you can see growth. Now, it may not kick out, hey, you made $10 million right now. No, it may kick off when you made 2 or 1, and then it's going to grow from there. And then at its peak, when it's humming and going on all 8 cylinders, humming like a bird, those numbers that we talked about will be there.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously it's not gonna be like instantaneously, but
You'll have good wealth. You'll see good numbers in the beginning. You just won't see every number. If that makes sense.
right. What is just your suggestion? How many blocks do you think we should really have?
As many as you want.
Right, but how many do you think we should at least have?
My thing, like me, if you had 5 to 10, it's kind of like this. Anybody ever heard of Jolie? I joke about this with April all the time. Julie Loeffler, the richest senator in the United States. Her husband's in charge of the stock exchange, basically in Georgia. Her and her husband, they're worth 800 million, something ungodly number. And April said, "Well, that's a lot of money." Well, it's a lot of money till you meet Zuckerberg, who's worth 50 billion. He makes her look poor. So it kind of depends on for you and your family. I've always envisioned generational wealth, where I wanted my kids' to say, I've thought about getting involved in Vietnam, but Vietnam's a little bit different. And the only reason why it makes it advantageous to get involved in Vietnam stock exchange because the currency's so cheap. But you won't really get the boom and bust you'll get of Iraq because their currency's not legit yet, if that makes sense. Vietnam's great if you just want to throw money at it and say, okay, this is a good idea. But when you really think about it, are they going to take the Vietnamese dong that fast? I would really love to see the Vietnamese dong. And this is my thing. If it went from 23,000, whatever it is, and changed 24,000 and got down to 10,000, I'm selling half of $100 million worth of dong. I'm selling it right then. Gone. Bye. Basta. I'll get my money back. I'll get 50% of my dollar. 100 million, I'm up 25 million. I'm not in love with Vietnam. I don't love Vietnam. Go ahead.
I talked to you a couple of months ago about buying more blocks. I was trying to find out, did they ever get that solved on Cash App, or would I still, because I didn't have a Zelle.
Nah,
I
you know
just
what?
got one.
Cash App flagged me because we had so many people sending money, so they flagged my account. I can only accept money through Zelle. That's the only way they'll let me accept it now.
Okay. I just opened one, so that's why I just wanted to make sure before I do it.
And I don't want you to send it to another person to send it to me because for tax purposes, you don't want to murky the water like 8%.
Right.
But I want to buy some more blocks. I'm going to buy some more blocks anyway because it's a sale. It's on sale.
What do you mean?
1,500. That's a sale. I'm buying. I'm in. I'm good. I'm Gucci, baby. Let's buy. Me, if I had my druthers for everybody in my group, if every person in my group had 5 to 20 blocks, I'd be like, look, y'all, don't worry. If it comes out of a nickel, who cares? That money you have to exchange at that point will be your lunch money.
Wow.
Woo. You could blow that in the afternoon just shopping and never worry about it because you know in a quarter you're gonna get more money. But more money, you can't even count it. You're gonna have to weigh it. Oof. I've never gotten a check for $30 million. Could you imagine going to your bank? I want to cash this. My dad sent me a check for my birthday. It's $100. Could you imagine going to a check from our holding company and saying, well, I got this check. They're going to look at you sideways. But we don't do checks. Everything's going to be electronically. And that's why I'm giving everybody also an opportunity to say, look, about this whole S-Corp thing, you don't have to plan for it. But if you start investigating it now, and you can open it up, you can start your S-Corp and give me an EIN number instead of your social. It makes things a whole lot easier. Instead of going from 50% tax, you go down to 15, and it's a long-term investment. It's going to actually go down to 5.
Wow.
Did everybody catch that?
Yeah, say it again.
Okay, if you have blocks with us, okay?
Yes.
And it's business to person, you're going to pay capital gains at a high number, probably 20%. Probably. But if it's business to business, it drops damn near down to 5%. You picked up 10% on your money. $1 million, that's $100,000 per million. At 30 million, you picked up damn near an extra $3 million.
Wow.
Just from having an escort. It has nothing to do with anything else than structure. Each block is $200, yes. And tell your friends, hey, yeah, you got to pay the $30 a month. Yeah, you got to pay that. It's a nagging piece. It's a nagging piece of money, right? I know it is for everybody. But do you know why I make you pay the $30? Because if it was free, it wouldn't mean shit to you. It wouldn't. Whatever. I don't care. You'd leave, go away. This way you stay in the game. I'm holding you all accountable for your own fortunes, your own wealth. And to get them dividends, you got to pay your 30. I'm not going to go up and say, oh, hey, y'all, look, now you got millions. It's $3,000 a month. No, $30. Stay in the game. Stay in the game. And tell your friends. And if they don't believe me, say, look up Russia's stock exchange from going private to public and tell me it ain't going to happen. Yeah, 5+. You're Oprah money. You're Michael Jordan money. You got stupid money. You got more money than, dude. I'll put it to you like this. I love to watch these shows, The Richest, and where people go out and buy things. Could you imagine like having a relative or a nephew? You never buy them a house, right? You never buy that house and put it in their name. You buy that house in your company name and you let them live in it. And you tell them every year you pay me $1 to live there. A year. You pay all the utilities, that's all you, cable, whatever. Don't destroy my house. But you pay me $1. It's called a straws transaction. And then you write it all off. The whole idea, if you didn't learn anything from this administration, you got to learn this. He who doesn't pay tax or pays the least tax is smart, as long as you do it legally. You do it illegally, you're in trouble. So I encourage you to pay your tax, but to have those write-offs behind you to where the blow's not so big.
Is that kind of like when they were asking Trump about his taxes and he said he prepaid them, so all that was left over is that $500?
You can't prepay your unfortunately, yeah, it is. You can't prepay.
Well,
no, Pamela, it's not $30 a month per block. It's $30 a month to be in the group. You buy your own blocks. Okay? It's $30. You're in. Long as you're in good standing, you get your money. And April and I are working on a way to start paying out, hopefully something good coming up soon. Right. Blocks won't change until Iraq changes their status. That's right. Which to me, I would rather invest $200 instead of $2,000 and have all these blocks. Forget currency's dead weight. You got to keep up with it. It can't get damaged. You got to hide it somewhere. What if you lose it? Your kid colors on it. Something could happen. These blocks ain't going nowhere. They're just sitting in the account. If anybody wants to see their account, well, you can't see the account. But, I mean, if you had a question, call me. We'll talk about it. Because my blessing, this is what I thought for my blessing. This is my selfish reason for doing this. Because you know how many people this is going to help? We got almost 70, 80 people. Man, they're going to be multimillionaires. How many people out there can say, I enabled 80 people to be multimillionaires? That's gonna be one of my proudest days to be like, how much did we write? How much did they send out? 600 million. Could you imagine a little dumb kid from Portland, Oregon, writing $600 million in checks in a quarter? Mama, ain't you proud of me? I was not so dumb, huh? Tell your friends, ask them to join the group. Now, there's other groups out there that you can buy stocks from. I won't lie to you. You know what the difference is? They don't have the infrastructure. And the other thing they don't have is they don't have the mindset to teach you to go from where you're going to be to where you will be at the end. Because they don't ever tell you anything. They talk. I hate talking. Man, well, if you take this, add that, plus this, minus that, you get this. Yep, that's good. Okay, well, what does it equal? I don't know. Accountability, showing up, being accessible, being a teacher. No, thank you, Ms. Pamela, because it's your time, not mine. I love doing this. I I love doing this more than I love doing the YouTube. I like YouTube until it got shitty. It's just, this is fun. I can't wait for one day. I hope every one of y'all buy some blocks. I'm dead straight about this. Even if it was just 200 and you're like, dude, this dude really did give me 2.5 a quarter. He's not lying for $30. You spend $30 on lottery tickets. And with that, it's an hour and a half into it, kids. I love you. We won't do one next Sunday, okay? Because that's Christmassy time, right? So I want you to enjoy Christmas. Let's watch the news. If something spectacular happens, let's get back together. But if not, enjoy the holiday. Enjoy each other. Love each other. Be kind, okay? And let's invest some money, man. Let's make some money.
Are we gonna come back in before the new year or?
Oh yeah, I think we should come in just for the new year, just to have a glass of cider together and say, you know what, it's been a long road to hoe. Let's see where the dinar is at then, and we'll schedule a time everybody can do. I think that would be fun, just to say, hey, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, blessings, Shalom. I mean, whatever it is, Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate. Right. I just want to be there to say, hey, we were all together. You know what I'm saying? And that way I can make sure everybody gets this blessing going forward.
Sounds great.
Since we're not having a meeting next Sunday, I am accepting all happy birthdays right now.
When's your birthday?
Next Sunday.
Happy birthday.
I love y'all.
Hey.
Happy birthday, bro. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Tuesday, I accept all donations. I accept all food. You know, I'm a big guy. I like to eat a little bit. You guys have a Merry Christmas. I will see you before the year. We'll schedule a date we can all be together. I ain't going to hold you no longer.
All right.
Oh, even Daisy knows we're quitting.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Okay? Be good.
Happy holidays, everyone.
And Miss Mary, you still have your position. Bless us all. Bye,
Yeah.
y'all.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays.
Happy holidays, guys.
Bye.
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 Be good.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I love all you guys. Thank you for your time.